Hello and welcome to a new episode of Friends of Mamdani. New York City is going through something totally unprecedented. For the first time, an immigrant and somebody who called himself a socialist stepped into the shoes that are so hard to fill. That's the mayor of New York City. New York City is better known around the world than many heads of states, and that's why the responsibility is humongous. And this victory, this unprecedented, this phenomenal victory, did not happen in isolation. It was made possible by several volunteers, and we'd like to introduce those to you. And of course, we'd like to bring to you the challenges that Mamdani faces, and also the expectations. What are the obstacles that Mamdani has, and how he plans to overcome them, and also what the expectations are from the supporters that brought him here. He was propelled to this phenomenal victory thanks to the efforts of lots and lots of people, one of whom is here with us. Mr. Ali Mirza, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Thanks a lot once again for your time. So let's go back. Let's turn the clock back to where it all began. Of course, Mamdani was one of many people who aspired to be New York's mayor. Everybody, of course, has that kind of dream. What attracted you toward him? What was the message that you thought? Okay, here is the guy I would like to support. What was it?
Authenticity, authenticity. Yeah, I mean, he came out as a very sincere person. He didn't pretend to be anything other than what he is, and that's what attracted to me. Very attractive to me, and also uh, the fact that he spoke with such a sincerity that I believe that he will fulfill the promises. Like he said, that these are not campaign slogans, but these are promises to be kept. So these were the two things that, and the courage, of course. Without courage, nothing goes to be completed.
Many politicians have come and gone, and of course, everybody tries to make promises. You must have some kind of an inbuilt messenger in you that tells you between the hollowness and the authenticity of the promises that were made. And you had a strong trust that he'll keep those promises. Now is the time. The fairy tale of winning an election is over. Now, harsh realities hit. Where do you see him going in his first year?
Well, we can divide these into two things: his performance so far, and the obstacles that he's going to face. And of course, based on that, we can project or anticipate how his administration is going to look like. Last time we talked about his transition team and the legal counsel. This week, he has made two more appointments. Actually, three. I mean, he added one Bangladeshi American. I'm not 100% sure if we covered that part last Sunday or not, but that she is one addition, and then two additions are his deputy mayor, who is a very experienced person. He worked in Giuliani's administration also, and Mayor De Blasio's administration also. His name is Dean Folahan, and he has a lot of experience in and a lot of political connections that Mayor-Elect Mamdani is going to need in Albany, in Washington, D.C., and in New York City, and all boroughs and all the surrounding counties. So
All right.
these two appointments are very good. And then he has also met with the police commissioner. And as he said, that they have talked about how it would look, the policing would look like or should look like, and they exchange the ideas on that. So far, what he's doing is completely in line with his promises and the campaign. And the interesting thing is that he has received 50,000 resumes. Uh, Remember, it is only 12 days since his victory. Today's, 2 days still left in 2 complete weeks since he got elected. So in 12 days to get 50,000 resumes, I think one of the challenges would be to sort out the good people that he wants to have in his administration, and that is a challenge. But there is a very good way to do it. What you do is first pick up those resumes out of 50,000. Say for one department, there are 500 resumes that will mm, uh, from the people who he can find a good fit into a particular department. So then he can select from them, from those resumes, and then once he appoints a department head, then those who have less experience but are qualified can be appointed. So challenges are there to go through the 50,000 resumes, but there is a simple solution to do it. There is a method and strategy in doing that, which is, again, to repeat in one sentence: you pick the people with experience who are qualified to lead a particular department, and then you give the less experienced people who have shown interest or have qualifications to work in that particular department of the mayor's office, uh, to that head of the department that you select, for him or her to go through them and then come back to the transition team. So workload can be distributed and can be minimized. So I think so far he's doing good, and he's talking the same talk. His talk has not changed. But of course, there are a lot of obstacles, and we will talk about it as we go along.
Absolutely. And this is the time. This is now the time to talk about those so called obstacles because everything looks honky dory till this point because he has secured a remarkable victory. But of course, unless you start doing things, everything looks like platitudes, very generic. I'll stand up for small guys, I'll stand up for the vulnerable. But the devil is in the details. Now, the biggest obstacles, of course, rent freeze, tenant protection, and affordable housing. Where do you see his biggest challenge coming from? And I mean, who will try to create obstacles in Mamdani's way in getting these aims accomplished?
Well, we have already seen the obstacles being put in his way. Mayor Eric Adams, when it comes to the affordable housing, there is a park in New York known as Elizabeth Park, and current mayor Eric Adams has put obstacles there that Mamdani cannot use that place. The other obstacle these opponents of Mamdani are putting forward is on the first day of his inauguration. Eric Adams, as we all know, has is in Israel right now, and he will be coming back at the end of this weekend. And the city council member, one of the city council member, has presented an invitation to Netanyahu to come to New York. So that is like a challenge how to handle it. And Mamdani has very clearly said that, okay, I will not create a new law, but I will follow all the existing laws so that the New York City and good people of America comply with the decency and the orders of the International Criminal Court. The other challenge is from the office of the newly elected comptroller, Mark Levine. I think there was a demonstration also in front of his office this morning or yesterday, asking him to divest investment from the bonds, Israeli bonds owned by the Israeli government. So that is going to be a challenge. But I don't think his focus is on those things at this point. Mamdani's focus is shaping in his coming administration, and in that regard, he has been meeting with people. He has met with the governor. He has sit down with her and talked to her. There are, like we talked about in the last conversation and discussion about the buses, that governor is not in favor of free buses. Governor is also not very open about the universal child care. But these are the things that Mamdani has to work in a way, and he has so far appointed capable people to reassign or the current resources, which means they don't have to find new money. but reassign the resources that they have and divert them towards meeting his main goals and campaign promises, which are stabilized rent, affordable housing, universal childcare, and free and clean and fast buses. So he's taking the right approach, and the thing that has to be seen is politically where things move in the next coming days, because governor is running for re-election, but her lieutenant governor, who is a African American with Latino background, he's also running for governor. So we have to see how the political side of this issue uh, plays out, because sitting governor will have to walk on a tightrope. She has to do what she thinks she can do, but at the same time, she has to be very mindful of Mamdani's agenda and the primary she will be facing, and the support from New York people of New York City, especially Mayor Mamdani's supporters, Mayor-Elect Mamdani's supporters. So that is a challenge. But I mean, a lot of things have fizzled out. If you noticed, people were saying that millionaires or billionaires will be leaving New York City once he win. That has not happened. In fact, many billionaires are now offering him help. And the other challenge, which I am sure that you are going to talk about, is the challenge coming from Washington, D.C.
Absolutely. And of course, before we move on to Washington, D.C., I'd like to stay within the New York area. And
Sure.
Mr. Mirza, I'm sure we can sit here and enjoy the awesomeness of his victory all day long. But now, of course, you guys propelled him to this phenomenal victory, but your work is just getting started now. So, what role can the community and people like yourself who have helped Mamdani get where he is today in overcoming these obstacles? Because of course he's not alone in this fight, because he's up against a humongous machine that he cannot fight alone. So what role can community and groups and individuals like yourself play? Please, if you can briefly shed some light on that.
Well, understandably, a lot of people are still enjoying his victory and celebrating. But I think the time will be coming soon, within immediately after Thanksgiving holidays, that the supporters of Mayor-elect Mamdani will have to uh, get off their seats and stop just being a keyboard activist. And instead of discussing superficial topics like, oh, Mamdani was wearing a brown coat like Obama wore a tan suit. I mean, those are like small talks that people can do around the water fountains in their office. But from that, the people who have supported Mamdani and are still supporting, they have to come out and be there in the field. Politics is a touchy-feely game. We have to be in the community, we have to be talking to people, and we have to be supporting his agenda. For example, tax the rich is something that governor, current governor and Mayor-elect Mamdani are not on the same page. So there was a rally yesterday, tax the rich rally. Uh, but the crowd was not that big as people expected. So, and there are many reasons for that. I mean, people are still recovering from the hard work that they did during the campaign. People are also getting adjusted to the weather, and also now the Thanksgiving holidays are upon us. So all those things, and the government shutdown that affected so
Yeah,
many people.
Mr. Mirza, I hate to interrupt, but we have to take a break. Please don't go anywhere. Join us on the other side of the break. We'll be right back.
Sure.
Welcome back. We are in conversation with Mr. Ali Mirza, a very well known community leader from the great state of New York. Mr. Mirza, so we'd like to carry on. Affordable, of course, there are many things which became unaffordable for the people of New York. Now, free buses or subsidized groceries, of course, sound like great ideas. How practical do you think they are, and what kind of challenges will Mamdani face in getting those, at least those accomplished? Two things: free commuting and grocery stores run by, you know, by his people, where people can get affordable groceries.
Right. I mean, see, we sometimes get lost into political discussion that get heated up and name calling and all that, that we forget that this is the same promise that President Trump had made during his campaign, that he's going to make groceries affordable. So there is a common ground, strange as it may sound, between Mamdani's promises and Trump's promises. The problem is that Trump has not paid attention to those promises, and the prices for groceries and other utilities and everything has gone up, especially because of the tariffs. Now, if you see, Trump is rolling back some of those tariffs. So when the discussion and talk will take place between Mayor-Elect Mamdani and the White House, then at that time, all these things can be discussed. And the other thing is the National Guards being called in New York State. So those are the challenges. But I think there is a common ground also at different levels of corridors of powers, not only in just New York State, but in Washington, D.C. also. Like, for example, I mean, a big deal has been made with the police commissioner, whether she's going to stay, and the differences between mayor-elect and the current police commissioner. Right now, the situation is that 350 uh, New York police officers are resigning and leaving the force. Before it was 200. Now the number has increased to 350 a year. The reason is that they are receiving 200 telephone calls a year dealing with the mental health issues. But Mayor Mamdani elect, he has a solution in mind for that, and that is to organize a Department of Community Services within the NYPD. So that can take care of the mental health challenge to people and the crimes that are coming out of, or the dangerous situations that are coming out of that affected or mentally challenged people. So he's moving. Remember, it has been only 12 days. So it's a very, very little time, but he is moving in the right direction. And one thing that people who have been supporting Mamdani and would like to continue, and what if you are sincere with his agenda, then just don't remain a talker, become a doer. And also, there are assembly, like I said before, also in the last program, there are going to be elections and primaries for the New York State Assembly positions, for the New York State Senate, for Congress, for different in different boroughs. There will be elections. So, and also in New York State. So the South Asian communities, the immigrant communities, Muslim communities, they should all start planning now. What is their role in getting progressive candidates elected for these positions in New York State Assembly, in New York State Senate, and other positions in the surrounding areas of New York City, so they can be helpful in Mamdani meeting his agenda. Uh, I mean, making just group and sitting there and posting pictures or talking about his brown or tan coat is not going to solve. Yes, it is part of the game, it is part of the fun, but it has been 12 days, maybe a few days more to enjoy this victory, historical victory. And then when you come back, when all of us come back after the Thanksgiving holiday, then we have to get serious. We have to start thinking of how practically we can help. Now, one way that people have helped already him to Mayor-Elect Mamdani is giving him $1 million, in for his transition team. Now, before, the transition team always got money from the vested interest. But Mamdani said, no, I'm not going to get money from the vested interest, because once you get money from them, that these are the people who start to pressurizing you to hire X, Y, and Z. And that's why we don't see any changes, because both parties are controlled by the billionaires, vested interest, and some foreign powers, and you know who. So, but when you get money from the small donors, an average donor, according to Mr. Mamdani himself, uh, contributed $80 on average. So these are folks like me and you. So that's a great thing. So people are supporting and doing things, but it will take more than just sitting on the keyboard, posting, or taking out few
That
dollars from the pocket. We have to be in the field and start, uh, start our engines again to run for the primaries. If we agree with and put forward progressive candidates who agree with Mamdani's agenda and get them elected.
this gives me a perfect segue to the question that I was about to ask. People have seen the fruitfulness of being out there, rolling up their sleeves, and actually doing some work. What exactly and specifically you, Mr. Mirza, are going to do to help Mamdani in getting his goals accomplished?
Me, well, you know, I have been in the forefront since I don't live in New York City. So I was not physically present initially in his campaign. But as the campaign progressed, and then when he showed that he's worth my traveling from Long Island and going and knocking doors, I did knock the doors. I went to his rallies, and I will continue to do that. And I'm talking. My job is twofold. One, to guide people as the former vice chairman of the Nassau County Democratic Party, as former candidate who ran for legislature in 2005, 4 years after 9/11, and got attacked by all the corners and only lost by 400 votes out of 11,000 votes. So with that experience in mind, I can guide. One role that I can play is guide Mamdani supporters as to what they need to do. And this is my request, my humble request to all of them, is to get after Thanksgiving holidays, when you come back, get into the field, go to the rallies to push and pressurize in support of your agenda, of Mamdani's agenda. Those who can run for the office, start planning, start thinking. What are the New York State Assembly seats? What are the City Council seats? What are the New York State Senate seats where there are possibilities of progressive candidates to come forward and win? So you have to do all that study, and I think our time movement, uh, which consists of the supporters of Mamdani, nothing to do with Mamdani's official position. I think they can guide people, but people have to, after Thanksgiving, come out and remain united. Remember, for the first time, the 93% of the Muslim community agreed on one candidate. Nobody said, okay, he's from India, or he's from Pakistan, or he's a Muslim, or what is the religion of his mother, or what father, or what his wife's clothing and interest, and uh, Mamdani was what clubs Mamdani was going to get the votes. Despite all those differences, the entire community united because of one reason, and that is the Gaza movement, the anti-genocide and free Palestine movement that has been going on in New York City for 2 years. Because of that, all the Muslims agreed. Now, South Asians, also they are facing the same problems. Immigrant communities got united because of the raids being conducted by the ICE under President Trump's administration. So that unity has to remain. We cannot go back to the time of,
I
oh,
totally agree with you, Mr. Mirza, but we are not figuratively, but literally in the last 2 minutes of the show. So I'll go real quick and please give me really quick answers. Every mayor's or every elected official's fiduciary responsibility is to play a role in keeping their communities safe. Public safety is a big issue. Where do you see, 30 seconds, please, Mamdani, playing a role in keeping New Yorkers safe?
well, under the current police commissioner, since she took over the office, the crime rate has gone down. Mamdani is talking to her, and we will soon know is she's going to stay or not. There are differences, but like I said before, that Mamdani has a solution for that. He is going to build a community services department within NYPD, so that the NYPD officers who are on the streets do not get stressed out and do not have to overwork, and they can pay attention to the crimes and keep the street safe. But one thing we have to keep in mind that usually crimes go hand to hand with the economic situation. I mean, if the economic situation is bad, people are not getting food, people are not able to buy groceries, people are not going to be able to buy clothing, then the crime rate
That
goes
brings
up.
me to my next. That brings me to my next rapid fire question. Washington's cooperation from Washington and President Trump. What do you see happen next?
Well, I think there is a silver lining in what is happening at the national front. The two things: one is the bad economic situation. Number two, the results of the elections on November 4th, and the third thing is the Epstein files. So President Trump is under pressure, and I think he's playing the Venezuela game, that, as a last resort, that if nothing helps him, then maybe he will go into Venezuela. But I think there is a possibility that because of the vulnerable position that President Trump is under, because of the Epstein files, because of the economy, and because of the election results, I think he would be open, or at least some people in Washington, D.C., around him, will be open to work on the issues that are faced by the ordinary Americans, everyday Americans, the pocketbook issues, the groceries, and all that. And Trump can take some credit, or at least not start new fights with a large city like New York City.
Again, I don't mean to trivialize the serious issues that we are discussing, but we are hard pressed for time. Do you think Mamdani's victory can be a harbinger for the House races happening next year, when people can say, if Mamdani can accomplish it, why can't I?
Oh, sure, sure. I'm sure a lot of people are thinking about it. It has given hope to immigrant and South Asian and progressive communities. I'm sure DSA is thinking and vetting candidates already. I'm sure the Our Time movement, consisting of Mamdani supporters, they are looking at it. Bernie Sanders movement is looking for it. Uh, People like AOC and other high profile elected officials who have future ambitions, they are all looking at it. And yes, I mean, like I said, even I living in Long Island was motivated because of Mamdani. And have said this before: Mamdani was standing on the shoulders of people who came before him, but now we have to stand on his shoulder and make this victory and movement wider and successful in other areas, also in other political corridors and corridors of power, like New York State Assembly,
So,
New
Mr.
York
Mirza,
City Council.
you're looking at long-term consequences. You're trying to make sure that it's not just the beginning of a trend, but beginning of an era. Do you think this is the beginning of an era, and why?
Yes, it is. But we have to. You cannot think about too much ahead of time. Also, we have to take one step at a time. But we have to start taking that first step. So yes, it is a beginning of a new era, I'm sure that the political bosses of both parties are shaking in their boots. They are nervous. And one advice to Mamdani, if his team is listening, or however way this message can go, is do not listen to Eric Adams when he's saying, oh, listen and do what the people who did not vote for you want. No, Mamdani doesn't have to go with the policies of people who did not vote for him. That will put him in trouble. He has to push forward his agenda, and I am glad that so far I am seeing the same thing. Some things will of course take time, but it depends on who is in Albany, who is in New York State Assembly and the Senate.
Fascinating. Thank you so much, Mr. Mirza. And I'm
My
totally
pleasure.
in sync with you when you say all great things take time. Rome was not built in a day. And Mamdani's victory is
Sure.
not just a flash in a pan, but can be the beginning of a new era,
Sure,
which,
and
of
I'm sure
course,
that you will get more people from Amdani's campaign in future programs so they can also share their thoughts.
absolutely, that'll be fantastic if we could get more and more people like yourself who are willing to not just appear on shows, but are willing to go out there and do their part, roll up their sleeves, and make sure that Mamdani's victory was not a fluke, but it's going to be more, it's going to materialize in more meaningful ways for people of New York as well as communities living in the United States. And of course, immigrants which have made this country the greatest country in the world. All the best to you, all the best to Team Mamdani,
Thank
and
you.
all the best to Friends
Inshallah.
of Mamdani.
Inshallah, like we say. Inshallah.
Inshallah, inshallah. And thanks for tuning in and watching. Without your support, we would not be where we are. Please keep supporting us, keep watching our show. We'll be back next week with another topic, another guest. Till then, stay blessed.